My name is Lieutenant General A. Banerjee. I had joined the army in 1948 and retired in 1986 as a Lieutenant General. When I joined the army, I had volunteered for parachute duties and so I had the opportunity of joining 60 Parachute Field Ambulance as a lieutenant in 1950. This unit, 60 Parachute Field Ambulance, was the India's contribution to the United Nations in their war against North Korea. North Korea had invaded South Korea and the case was taken up, and as such the United Nations sent help to South Korea to fight the North Koreans. India's contribution to this was a field medical unit, and 60 parachute field ambulance was selected. This unit sailed in a US warship, Private Ellen Johnson, on 8th November 50 and landed at Busan, the present Busan, on 20th November 1950. This unit proceeded to Daegu, and then as the war was supposed to be finishing, we were rushed to the front area to join the 8th Army, which was there at Pyongyang. So, having spent a few days at Pyongyang, the unit moved straight away, having spent a few days at Daegu, the unit moved to Pyongyang, and we landed in Pyongyang on 29th November 1950. We could hardly stay in Pyongyang. We hardly stayed at Pyongyang for a few days, and when the Chinese troops moved in, and the whole 8th Army had to move back. So we went back south of Seoul in a train as well as with our vehicles, and we were told to join the headquarters of the 8th Army, the USAC as they call it, on 4th of December. 6th of December, we came back to Seoul, and we were allotted to give medical cover to 27th British Brigade. This brigade was the second brigade which was contributed by the British Army. They had the 28th Brigade also. The 60 Field Ambulance, which was named 60 Indian Field Ambulance in Korea, was allotted to the British Brigade. And throughout their tenure in Korea, it remained with the British Brigade. The Field Ambulance provides medical cover to the fighting troops in the forward areas, is mobile, so it can move back and forth. But the advantage of this parachute field ambulance is that it has 2 surgical teams. So we could do life-saving operations right at the forward areas. After moving back from Seoul, The war went as a ding-dong type, sometimes going up, sometimes down. And we have been looking after the British, American and Korean troops, as well as some prisoners of war. The unit was not fully mobile, in a sense that the vehicles which was with the unit could not move the whole unit at a stretch. So the unit divided into two parts. The forward section stayed with the surgical team, one surgical team, and the other rear went back to Daegu with the other surgical team. That happened sometime in January 1951. The forward unit, which became a part of 27th Brigade, moved down further from Seoul to a place called Ujangbu. The rear detachment, which was the main supply stores for this medical unit, went back to Daegu. They also had a surgical team, and they started looking after a civil hospital at Daegu. So by 9th February 51, a fully functional civil hospital at Daegu was being run by the rear troops of the 60 Indian Field Ambulance. The forward detachment after that went on various movements, at times forward, at times retreat, giving support to the 27th British Brigade. Being a parachute unit, the commanding officer volunteered the services of a surgical team to the 187 RCT, the Regimental Combat Team of the US Army, for any operation which they desired, which took place on the 18th March, an Operation Tomahawk at Munsanni. A surgical team of the Indian Field Ambulance took part in the same operation along with 187 RCT, Regimental Combat Team, and did a good job there. The other detachment, the forward detachment, which was with the 27th Brigade, took part in the operation throughout the tenure in Korea. There have been few important operations. One at Kapyong, in which a lot of casualties were looked after by the Indian Field Ambulance. By the middle of year 1951, the Commonwealth Division was formed, and the Indian Field Ambulance became a part of the Commonwealth Division, giving medical cover to the same 20 28th Brigade instead of 27th British Brigade. Commonwealth Division was formed on 28th July. The unit took part, apart from the Operation Tomahawk, with various operations which was given to the British Brigade and the division, for which they were given the meritorious unit citation by the US Army. This took place on 17th August at Taegu, and the meritorious unit citation was given to the 60 Indian Field Ambulance. On the 17th, similar citation was given by the Korean Army. I don't remember the name of the general who did it, but this happened there at Taegu, at a parade. The citation by the Korean Army was given to this unit. After that, there has been various operations, one of them being Op Commando by the Commonwealth Division in October 51, in which this Indian Field Ambulance took a major part and did a good job looking after two important battalions, the 3rd Royal Australian Regiment and the Northumberland Fusiliers. The rear detachment has been looking after that particular hospital and had treated more than about 40,000 patients, outpatients, and looking after the civilians in this particular period.
Wow, 40,000.
Yeah, they were as outpatients.
Wow.
That was. After that, the war has been on a ding-dong type, advance and retreat, and the forward detachment was involved in looking after this British brigade. I was particularly lucky because I was all the time along with the forward detachment, and so I have been taking part in most of the operations which the Commonwealth Division and the British Brigade had.
So you were a surgeon?
I was a captain, no, as a general duty medical officer.
General duty medical. So as a general duty medical officer, what did that entail? What did you do?
It was more of a life-saving first aid, which you do. Bandaging wounds, splints, and giving transfusions if required.
So
and immediate, and evacuating to the rear.
But why is it called a parachute? 60th parachute?
Because all the troops are paratroopers.
Oh, really? Everybody?
Everybody.
Even you?
Yes. Oh, I am seated. My son also joined the army later, and he is also a paratrooper.
Really? So you are trained as a paratrooper
as a doctor
and a doctor?
Doctor, yes. That is the advantage of the parachute. We are all the paratroopers.
So right now, the 60th ambulance in Agra, they do their parachute.
Yes, all are paratroopers. They are all qualified.
But not medical.
Medical, yes.
Them,
all
even now.
Yes.
Not only during the Korean War, even now.
No, they have, because we have to function. This unit has to stay. Anytime an
So they are
operation.
paratroopers and medical officers,
Officers,
even
yes,
now.
you know, they go on changing. They are all doctors and they are trained. So if there is a requirement, they straight away they are brought in.
Wow. Did you know that?
That is how the commanding officer volunteered our services.
Yes, I wanted to ask. So, how many total went, and how many were wounded, and how many were died?
No, we have been there for nearly 3 years.
Okay.
So I won't be able to give you all the figures.
Mhm.
But we had our troops, I remember no one was killed during the war, but a driver lost his foot, blown up by a mine, trying to evacuate a patient. Another driver lost his arm by a mortar. And there were a few other minor injuries, but these two major injuries I remember.
And how many do you think in total went to Indians went to the to fight for Korea? At least in this the field unit.
I just told 317.
317.
Out of which there were 17 officers, 10 JCOs, and 304 other ranks. The JCOs is junior commissioned officers,
Okay.
and the rest are all troops, various. You call it in America sergeant, corporal, lance corporal, that sort of thing.
And you were what was your rank when you?
I was a captain.
You were a captain. How old are you when you went?
I joined 26. I was 26. We went in 50, so I was 24.
24.
I was 24 that time.
And you went in 1950, so you are now 91.
I'm 91
You
now.
are now 91 years old. Did the soldiers, did the military people who went to Korea, did they volunteer or were they drafted?
Here we volunteer for parachute duties, and after that, when the unit moves, you move anyway.
Okay, so
You don't have to.
The military
you have to
sent you.
volunteer for parachute duties.
okay, you
That-
volunteered for parachute, but the military sent you to
And
Korea.
then wherever you are posted to do, you are sent.
Okay. So most of the people that went to Korea, when they came back, they still served,
They went to different places.
but they all stayed in the military.
They
Indian.
stayed in the military. Yes, they're all regular troops.
So if you really think about it, the Indian that went to Korea were very experienced.
Yes, they had been in Kashmir war
Yes,
before that.
The reason why I say that is I interviewed many veterans, right?
Yeah.
They were 16, 17. They volunteered. They didn't know anything about war. And they were just young soldiers, sometimes seeking for adventure. But I think Indians were different. They sent serious, experience.
They were a part of the unit, and then you go with the unit.
Wow. That's amazing. So when you came back from Korea,
Yes.
after 1 year, right?
No, I stayed there 3 years.
You stayed there for 3 years.
Nearly 3 years.
Wow.
The unit, this was all the units which went to Korea from the rest of the countries, they used to go back after 1 year. But this Indian field ambulance stayed for nearly 3 years.
Everybody?
Not everybody. The people went on coming back, some of them. One of the longest, but there was some
Who decided for you to stay 3 years? You or the military?
military.
Uh-huh.
Unless
Because you were high ranking.
No, not hierarchy. They decide who would come back.
Well,
But
maybe they wanted you to stay because you were really good at.
not necessarily. They partly, I would say that was correct, because they had to get officers volunteering for doing parachute duties and going to Korea. When we went, all the officers, I won't say the whole unit was, but about 60 to 70% of the troops were qualified paratroopers. The rest had joined, but they had not qualified so far.
You know, so my question is it's incredible because, I mean, I know there weren't, so for example, in America, I mean, like 1.8 million went, okay? And 54,000 died. So of course it's a big war. But even in America, Korean War is called the Forgotten War, you know?
Yeah.
But in India, I mean, I know it was right after India was independent, right? India gained independence, and then shortly after you went to Korea.
Yeah.
But why do you think very, 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 very few people know about India's contributions in the Korean War?
It is a small unit. Actually, it depends on the number of troops given, because apart from India, there were 21 nations
Yes, yes,
took part.
yes.
Now, some of them also, like as you said, Norway, Sweden,
Yes.
they got a hospital ship or a
Yes,
MASH.
Yulandia, yes.
And Philippines and others, so many other they just send a battalion. Battalion means roughly about
Yes.
600 to 700 troops, fighting troops, mind you. Yes, except
Who
for
flew your plane?
the American.
British?
No, when we went to Korea,
Yes.
no, we went by ship.
I know, but you paratroopers, right?
But that was the entirely American operation. One, as I told you, 187 RCT, the Regiment Combat Team.
So
That's-
you flew with them and then jumped
Yes,
with the Americans.
the Americans. We volunteered because we had a surgical team. The regimental combat team had their own medical supply, but they didn't have a surgical team. So we volunteered. So our surgical team, one surgical team, went with them. And
How many people is
12,
one? 12.
12 people.
Well,
Surgeon, anesthetist, and 2 doctors.
and
The others are helping.
how often did you go with them in combat? And
No, that was the only operation, airborne operation in Korea. That operation at Munsanni.
Munjangni.
Yeah.
So for 3 years, okay, just describe to me maybe like your everyday, typical average day. And you stayed there for 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. So you didn't. I mean, did you have to take care of the patients every day? I mean.
No, patients are there. We had a small ward. The patients come here. You look after them. They may be outpatients, just giving medical care, and they go back. Or if they are sort of to be kept as a patient, we had wards where the patients are kept and looked after. Or if they are still serious, we send them further back to the MASH.
To the MASH.
Yes.
And then the MASH sends sometimes.
MASH looked after, and so the rear, it's a sort of middle unit.
So you are even more urgent care than MASH.
Yes, we have a more earlier care.
Okay.
The first time,
This is so
this
interesting.
is, so it's a field.
So you are like the emergency room.
Yes, it's the first what we look after,
Yeah.
giving the life-saving treatment
Yes.
and evacuate
Yeah, and then
as
send
soon
to
as
MASH.
possible. because being a field unit, we had these jeeps, the bigger ambulance and the smaller jeep ambulance cars. So we quickly send them back
Okay.
and go to the MASH.
Okay. So, I mean, you had American and British patients, but did you see other patients from other countries?
Oh, no, it was mainly British and Australian, New Zealand as being a part of the Commonwealth division, and some Americans when we were part of their American operation, and also sometimes Koreans who were the South Korea, the
Yes.
Rock Army.
Not civilians, though.
Civilians of yes.
Really?
Civilians also, if they are wounded villages, they came. Civilians, now that is entirely different from the civilian hospital being run at Daegu. That was separate, running as a hospital. Half the unit was there at Daegu, and we used to alternate them. Same, people used to go to the forward areas, and the others from the forward used to come back to the rear for a change and stay, and then again go to the forward areas.
So, forward, so it changed all the time, wherever the
Yeah, whenever the troops were
but you had a base in Daegu.
base at Daegu,
Daegu. Oh, this is so interesting.
or resources of field rations and others which used to come from India, used to go to Daegu
Daegu.
and then send forward.
Okay. So you ate Indian food?
Yes.
Yes. Because I asked Ethiopia, because I came from Ethiopia here.
Yeah.
I said, what did you eat? They couldn't eat Ethiopian food.
No, actually.
Yeah, they didn't.
No,
But you did.
Yes.
Yes.
And
No Korean food.
Korean food, no. It was mainly
So you had cooks and everything there.
cooks. Yes, the unit consists of everything, all types. The tradesmen we called them. We had cooks. We had barbers. We have washermen
Really?
washing clothes.
Because some, I think many other troops, they had Korean houseboys, Korean.
Yeah.
Yes, right? But you didn't. You
No,
did-
no, no. We didn't have any because we as part of everything, including barbers. We had a dental unit also. That is also
You had dentists.
dentists also. The 17 officers, we had 2 dental surgeons.
Really?
Yes.
For both the army and for the wounded and for you.
Yeah, dentist
Ah.
was there, looking after, and also because they, field ambulance has this dental officer
Yes,
also.
yes. Oh. And nurses?
No.
No women,
female.
no female.
No women. We used to call nursing orderly. They used to do nursing jobs. They're specially trained, like operation room assistants, physiotherapists, laboratory technicians. We have all these things, but all they trained and they are paratroopers.
So were you married before you went to
No,
Korea?
I was not married.
So you married after?
We had married personnel were also there. But I was.
Well, good, because you stayed there for 3 years, and if you were married, that would have been, difficult. So you came back and you got married, and you had
Yes.
and your son is also a paratrooper.
My son is also a paratrooper. He's at the moment in the army.
Really, even
Yes.
now,
Yes, he's a brigadier in Lucknow.
in 60, where?
At Lucknow,
Oh.
in UP.
But not a 60th Field Unit.
No, he served in 60.
Oh, he did?
He was a part of 60 for
Wow.
quite some time.
Wow. So, do you have other children that are also?
No, I'm just one son.
One son.
कोमल वो तस्वीर ले आओ ना हम लोग जो है हम लेफ्ट साइड पे वाला ले आओ सबसे लेफ्ट बाएं वाला जो है उसको ले आओ नहीं ये जो खराब इस पर रखा हुआ है
Do you have? Did you ever go back to Korea?
Yes,
You did.
I did.
When?
Now I have been lucky. I went. The first batch of revisit to Korea took place in 1991,
Yes.
and I was the only chap from India
Wow.
who went there because I had been there.
1991.
1991.
What did you think when you went to Nick?
नहीं अरे इसके ऊपर जो रखा हुआ है जब हमका This is of course
After you came back.
this is
Your son?
That's my son
Oh.
and my wife
Okay. And you?
and me.
Wow.
This was while I was serving, and this is when I retired. That was my family, but unfortunately,
A little higher? Okay. Yes.
this is and unfortunately, I lost my wife and my grandson.
Oh. So sorry to hear that.
So that is
Well, I know you lost your grandson, but you have a new one more Korean granddaughter. I call everybody, all the Korean War veterans
Yeah.
around the world, my grandpas because
this
I
is
yes, because I say if you didn't go there in Korea and fight for Korea, I wouldn't be here.
so nice of you.
No, and I really mean it, and that's why I used to work for the United States Congress for 7 years. I was chief of staff to a member of Congress. He represented Harlem. He was a congressman for 46 years, and he decided to retire when President Obama retired. And before I start a new career with a new congressman, I said, you know what? God has been so good to me, and I've been living the American dream. How many child, woman, young person of an immigrant family in America, where in politics, as you know, it's still very white dominated men. And here I was, and I said, wow, I'm so grateful. So I said, I am gonna take a break, and I am going to visit all my grandpas all over the
So
world,
nice of you.
all over the world, and say thank you, because many of you are very old now. You're not young anymore, and
Yeah.
and I said, I wanted to say thank you, but also I wanted you to remember that me, not only me, but my friends, my families, and Koreans in Korea and all over the world, we don't forget.
Yeah.
Right? We don't forget.
So nice of you.
Yes,
So nice.
yes. And I know when you visited Korea in 1991, I'm sure they said thank
They
you.
have been, they
Yeah.
have been.
And maybe the Korean embassy here, right?
They have been looking after. I told you they have given so many sort of citations and others. It's really very rewarding, and it is a heart-rending.
Yeah. So I know you said you.
And the best part is having seen the country that time in 1950, 51 and 50, till 53, and visiting Korea now. What a difference.
You must be so proud.
Really proud. How can a country which was in what state at that time, within these few years, come up to this height?
It was in rubble.
There was
Nothing.
There was one bridge over River Seoul those days.
Yeah, the Han River.
Han River.
Yes. I think now.
Unfortunately, I have donated recently my personal album to the museum, AMC Medical Corps Museum at Lucknow, in which all the, I would have shown in the pictures of the Korean thing. What I did was, they wanted my father, when he was here, he kept all the paper cuttings of this unit of the Korean.
Oh, when you were in Korea.
When we were in Korea.
All the newspaper.
So, in the newspaper. And he wrote down even the announcements in All India Radio.
Wow.
And when I came back after 3 years from Korea, he gave it to me as a booklet. And that, along with my own personal album,
That
which
is
for
history.
pictures which I had from Korea I have taken, I handed over to the Korean embassy.
Wow.
And you know, it's there now in Seoul, in their national museum.
War museum.
War Museum in Seoul, it is there.
You know, I'm after my last final destination is Seoul. I go to first Busan, where the cemetery is,
Yes.
and then I go to Seoul, where the war museum is. I will go and find your
Yes, you see.
Wow,
So
that's
that was-
amazing.
I have been to Korea 3 times.
Wow.
The last time, of course, was the year 2000. It was the 50th anniversary.
Yes. It was huge.
So 50th
So
anniversary.
my boss, he's a congressman, but he also was a Korean War veteran. And he went to the 50th anniversary too. Yes.
That's the last time I went. That was in 2000.
Thank you so much. I think I saw some pictures over there of you when you were a soldier. Can we go and see?
Yeah, please. Unfortunately.